Welcome back to the Roast It Yourself podcast, brought to you by Coffee Bean Corral and Current Crop Roasting Shop. My name is Stephen Burnett with Coffee Bean Corral in Jackson, Mississippi, and with me, as always, is Catherine Mansell, Certified Q Grader and Director of Current Crop Roasting Shop in New Orleans, Louisiana. Catherine, where are we today? And by today, I don't mean the day we're recording. I mean the day this goes live to the world. Where are we?
SCA in Houston.
Yes. SCA conference. We're probably, at this point, sore-calved. Hope we're wearing good shoes, good insoles.
Right.
Catherine showed me a list of all the booths that she's planned to visit, and I think it's all of them. I think she's just written every single one of them down. It was a page and a half. We're gonna make much of it. We're not gonna have a booth, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I get to go and just meet people and see coffee things.
Yeah. Have you been to one before?
Not SCA. Not SCA. I've been to the NOLA Coffee Fest.
Yeah.
I've been to some things like that.
Yeah.
That are a little bit more regional, but this is the big dog.
This is the big dog, and it's sort of like any coffee festival that you've gone to on major steroids, because it's not just nationwide; it's a worldwide sort of event that's taking place. So you've got traders, you've got farmers, you've got a roaster village, you've got competitions, you've got any manufacturer of any product you could or would ever need, and they are ready to chat with you all about it. So my list is only my top 30 that I'm going to stop by and see, and I already have so many people that I haven't seen since the last one I was in, which was Boston in 2022. So it's been a long time since I've seen a lot of these people in person, and I'm pretty excited.
That is so exciting. And we've got customers, we've got people that buy from us that are going to be there. We've got, you don't have to sell me on this, Catherine. I'm already there. All right. I'm already there, and I'm very excited. I'm going to be like a kid in the candy store. So anyway, SCA Houston, if you're going to be there, if you're there now, come find us.
Yes.
We'll be the people wearing the Current Crop and Coffee Bean Corral t-shirts.
That's right.
Running around with glazed looks on our faces. Excited. But when we're not at SCA in Houston, we set aside about 10 minutes every week to field questions from home coffee roasters and professionals alike about roasting, tasting, and most importantly, enjoying coffee. You can send your questions to questions@riypod.com. That's questions@riypod.com to get a nice shout out from us, and of course, to get your question answered in an upcoming episode. This week's question is from Mike, who asks, "Hey guys, loved your podcast. Thanks for doing it." You're welcome, Mike. I roast on a Fresh Roast 540 with an extension tube. I've been roasting for about 8 months. I roast a couple of times a week. When I was first roasting with the standard short glass tube, I would often times hit a lot of chocolate notes in my roast. I did not make any notes back then, though, so he wasn't recording his roast like we always say. So he's on that now. Yeah. Good job, Mike. Now that I am roasting with an extension tube and have been for the last 6 months, it seems like I can't get those chocolate notes nearly as strong as I used to. I don't want to go back to the shorter tube with such small capacity. Are there any tips or tricks you can offer to pull out certain characteristics of coffee, specifically the chocolate notes? Thanks again, Mike from Boise, Idaho. Yeah. Okay, Mike. Well, a couple things. I'm going to turn Catherine loose on her answer, a very detailed answer, but two things I want to say first. First of all is that there is a significant difference in roasting with and without the extension tube on the Fresh Roast. The way that the airflow works, the way that the temperatures work, it's drastic. And we made a couple of videos called roast along videos that you can see. I'll link them below that you can see. And we had one for the standard chamber 800 and 540 and one for the extension tube version 800 and 540.
Yeah.
Very different machines, but with the extension tube, the 540, 800 work very similarly. Yeah. Without, they work very similarly. Yeah. And so we actually made the videos to kind of draw that point out. You're going to notice in Catherine's response that we're going to deviate from what we said in the extension tube video. And that's because the extension tube video was designed to get people roasting like drinkable coffee out of the gate, their very first roast ever, which most of us have never been able to do the first time out.
Right.
So when we're talking about profiling and pulling out specific characteristics, you're going to get a different answer. And that's okay. This is all experimentation. This is a lot of trial and error. So with that, Catherine, how can the man get his chocolate notes back?
Yeah. Well, the first thing, you're obviously choosing coffees that have chocolate in their tasting notes. But what you can look for when you're buying coffees, coffees that have been grown at a higher altitude, tend to be sweeter because the coffee grows slower and the molecular structure of the bean is denser. So you have more sugar molecules with higher grown coffee. So step one, coffee that has chocolate in the tasting notes and the highest possible altitude will help get you started. Secondly, you're really going to be focusing on the Maillard phase and the development phase. So what you're going to try to do is extend your Maillard phase by 15 to 30 seconds. And then you want your full development phase to be that 20%. So as you're going through and you're roasting, and our guide, especially with the one with the extension tube, tells you to lower the fan about every minute. So what you're going to have to do is when your beans have gotten through the yellowing phase and they're starting to turn brown, instead of on the next minute lowering the fan, wait until it's a minute and a half after. So a good 30 seconds. So say your next choice or your next change would be lowering the fan from 6 to 5. Instead of lowering it at 6, wait until you get to 5.5 and then lower it. So just give it that extra 30 seconds in the Maillard phase to increase that sweetness to where you can pick up the chocolate a little bit more. And then your development phase, you still want for your total roast time, say your total roast time is 8 minutes. You want the last minute and a half being the development phase. So if you're going along the guide, and even when you increase the Maillard phase by 30 seconds, your beans are still going to hit first crack anywhere between 6 to 7 minutes, normally around 6.5. So after that first crack, you still want to give it that full minute and a half. So what I normally do is when my beans are slowing after the first crack, I will lower my power all the way down to 1. And even sometimes increase my fan back by 1 to sort of stall out that temperature increasing and see if you can get just straight development after that first crack, and give it some time. But really, lengthening that Maillard phase and having a full development phase is really going to be where you bring that sweetness and those chocolate notes out.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I mean, all of that, if that was a little bit over your head, check our blog, because we have all the if you can find things on there to help you figure out what is the Maillard phase, what is this, what is that, all important stuff. But the main thing is, we have a lot of control when we're roasting coffee. Yeah. And I love the way, Mike, that you're thinking about this, because you recognize if you're buying a coffee that has like a chocolate note there, it's there. Mm-hmm. You can either uncover it or you can muddle it and cover it up, right? You can reveal it, or you can hide it by the way that you roast and the way that you brew your coffee. So it's good. That's exactly how to think about this, is what can I do to bring out what's there? Because I can't create flavors that aren't. Right. But yeah, so definitely check the blog out. Roll that back and listen to Catherine again, because she gave some amazing advice about how to stretch those phases out. Yeah. It's one that people don't think about very much, but keep in mind, once you're in first crack, the coffee beans have gone and they're doing exothermic energy now. Mm-hmm. And so they're going to be producing a lot more, than from the internal of the bean, producing more heat than the external. So it's okay to stretch that a little bit longer. You want to make sure you got a good, robust first crack going first. You don't want to do that the very first time. Right. Otherwise, you may flatten first crack out entirely. Yeah. Done that before. Done it before. More than once. Probably do it again. Right. But it's one of those things. But Mike, keep on the hunt. Keep working with this stuff. And, at the end of the day, if you're using the same coffee and, something else that's important here, we're big, as you can tell by the name Current Crop Roasting Shop, we're big on fresh coffee. Yeah. And so keeping in mind that if you've had coffee that you've had for a while, maybe 8 to 10 months, and it might have been 6 months old when you bought it, you might want to get a fresher, a new crop of coffee too, might affect the flavor notes as well. So just some things that can happen there. I totally understand where you're coming from. But yeah, you get a lot of control with the fresh roast, so it's a good decision.
Yeah.
Like I said, we will link the videos for the roast along for the standard chamber and the extension tube below. And otherwise, yeah, that's that. So, like Catherine, with all that we said, and you gave a very detailed response, obviously, I don't think there's anything more that could be said, possibly by anyone, no matter how educated or how experienced, about roasting coffee. But in the event that something has slipped our collective genius and right through the gate, listeners, if you've caught something that we missed, you should please absolutely share that in the comments.
Yes.
Absolutely, put that in there on YouTube, especially that people really get talking on YouTube on our podcast, which is great. Really helps grow the channel. But do put that in there. Let us know what you missed. If you have the same experience that Mike had, and you figured out a way around it, or you have your breakdown of like, here's what I do with the Fresh Roast 540 with the extension tube to get those chocolatey sweet notes. Lay it out for us, because giving Mike more options and more kind of insight is only going to help all of us.
Yeah.
We hope that you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. And if you did, please leave us a rating or review on whatever platform you found us on. Share with your friends as well, because we're excited to watch the Roast Yourself podcast continue to grow, get more people into the hobby. We get messages all the time via email and in comments on our things about how people are interested in coffee roasting or just started coffee roasting, and we help them get there. And really, that means that you've helped them get there, because you've been supplying us with these questions that have been so helpful and resonated with people. We could not do this without the folks on our team that handle our audio and video and graphics, make us sound and look good, smell good, all that stuff. We really appreciate y'all. Not really, doesn't smell good. Yeah. But we couldn't do that without y'all. We couldn't do that without our team that lets us have the freedom to sit down and have these conversations. So we want to say thank you to the Coffee Bean Corral, Rancher, and Current Crop Roasting Shop crew. Remember to send any questions you have about coffee roasting in general, or coffee tasting, any of that stuff, to questions@riypod.com. Otherwise, have a great day and happy roasting.
Happy roasting.